All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Talking hoops. Nice, fun 7-game slate. I love how it's spaced out. Got 2 games at 7. 1 game, or let me start over. 2 games at 7 p.m. Eastern. 3 games at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. 2.5 hour window. Do whatever you want. 2 games at 10 p.m. Eastern. Easy peasy. 30 minutes to take care of. And then after 2.5 hour window, a lot of injury news as always. Joined as always by my man Rio. Huge weekend coming up. Waste Management, all of us will be in Phoenix. We will still have content. This is the last show of the week until Monday, though. We have a Super Bowl showdown show pre-recorded, so that will drop, of course. MMA, Big Marley and I just talked about everything as usual, though. And as Jordan mentioned right here, 888 tonight. Jordan, let me know if you're in there, but I myself got lucky, got a couple tickets. It's time to win something big, Rio. $250K sounds pretty good to me.
Yep, tonight's your night. I know you got a few tickets in there. I was not able to come away with any last night. I got destroyed in the NBA streets last night. Did not have enough Knicks or Luka in my lineups. But it's all good because my Utah Jazz came away with a big win over Oklahoma City. Really fun game to watch. Nice to see my guy Keontae George coming on as a pro right now, but yeah, big weekend ahead. Looking forward to it. Got an early morning tomorrow for travel. So definitely be seeing my guys Title and Marley nice and early tomorrow. But yeah, I'm excited about this slate. Excited. I'm happy with the way that they space it out as well. Like having that little window, can get some food in me and relax for a little bit. And then yeah, I'm excited for this weekend as well.
Oh yeah, will be fun. Jasmine, so pumped to see you as well. Yeah, Rio, let me know in the morning, obviously. Depending on time and stuff. Big Marley will be over. First thing he said, what about a workout? So maybe Big Marley and I hitting the gym later. But super pumped. A lot of familiar faces in chat. Paraby, Sean, Evan, Reezer, Jordan, Go Collect, Beach Bum, Roger, Mark's in here as well. Already said hi to Jasmine. There's Big Marley right there. Takedown, what's going on? Go Collect. Title loves the 10 p.m. Eastern games. Of course. What else is a 26-year-old Title town with no kids going to do besides hey, grind out showdown, grind out the night slate, try and make some money. So you bet I'm excited to see those games. Utah got you the 12 single entry takedown. Hey, it fits the name right there. Congrats to you. Could be Travis. He's in here. He donated yesterday. He's the man. Sean in here as well. A lot of familiar faces, like I said. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us. 2 games at 7, 3 games at 7:30, 2 games at 10. Easy peasy. Before we go game by game, though, Rio, as far as Q tags, a couple of the biggest on the slate. Cade, Tyrese Maxey, who did miss shoot around. Zion, DeJounte Murray midday downgrade. Draymond, Drew, Bojan Bogdanovic. By far the main ones right there. Any leans on any of those guys? Any thoughts before we go game by game?
Yeah, so it seems like Tyrese Maxey probably going to miss tonight. Was not at shoot around. Illness. This sickness has been kind of lingering in the Sixers organization. I've had a couple people, Tobias Harris, one of them, missed a couple games with the illness. I think Daniel House also listed with an illness. So those guys, pretty good chance to miss, knowing that they missed shoot around. I think DeJounte Murray, probably pretty good chance to miss with a midday downgrade to questionable. Obviously, he's kind of the centerpiece of trade talks right now. He's the biggest name on the market. Kind of makes sense to keep your product healthy. So I think that he has a pretty good shot to miss. As far as like the Boston stuff, not too sure on Drew. Would make sense to give some of these vets a night off. I think Cade probably plays tonight. They're on a back-to-back playing against the Blazers tomorrow. Makes sense to give them the night off tomorrow, knowing that it's going to be a tank fest. And then any other big ones that I missed? Bojan, he's probably. I don't really have a strong lean on him. I think Zion probably plays tonight. He's been questionable and playing through it lately.
So the main ones right there, Zion, because that game's at 10 p.m. Eastern. by far the most important of all of them. The only other one, Bojan Bogdanovic, is the 10 p.m. Eastern game for Detroit, or Cade as well. But you have a lean that he does play. But Maxey, that game's at 7:30 Eastern. Again, missed shoot around. DeJounte, that game's at 7:30 Eastern. So hoping we get all that news. I expect DeJounte to sit as well. Sounds like Tyrese Maxey probably sits. They're still without Embiid. And yeah, as far as the other ones, I'm not going to be like with majority of the game starting within 30 minutes. I'm hoping / expecting to even get those 7:30 p.m. Eastern starting lineups, the news, etc. And I'm definitely not backloading or messing. Like if I have no one left in this last 10 p.m. Eastern game and my lineup's all full, I'm completely fine with that as well. If I have a spot or two and then Zion gets ruled out or Bogdanovic, I'll adjust as best as I can. But definitely not backloading today. Hofbro, what's good, my man? Hope everything going well with you. Always crush it in every street, especially the NHL and the college football streets. What's going on, Jake? Good to see you as well. I appreciate that. First game of the night. Let's get right into it. Not much interest on my side. Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the Washington Wizards. 234 total. Cleveland big favorites at 11.5. And both teams, Cleveland and Washington, are healthy in this game. So deep bench, big total. Prices look fair to me. Jarrett Allen's the only one I think that gets some ownership in this game. He will get a decent bit, 7.6K, still fair. At center, D-Mitch I think is fine as well. I don't know. Really, for me on the Cavs side, is just D-Mitch or Jarrett Allen, and I'd be fine if I had none of them. Washington side, Tyus, Kuzma, I don't know, maybe Gafford. If we're talking broad slate overview, though, 7 games, and I had to make it a 6-gamer, I could definitely fade this game. But either D-Mitch, Allen, Kuzma, Tyus Jones, a one-off at best. But I don't like this game much. What about you?
Yeah, on the Wizards side, I think that they're a pretty easy cross-off. They do have a lot of guys that are in trade talks as well. Obviously, Kuzma kind of been thrown around a little bit. They've had DeLon Wright. I think Tyus Jones has even been thrown around in some trade rumors. So definitely keep an eye on those guys if they get traded. Obviously, can't play them tonight, but I think that they'll probably all end up playing tonight. But I just don't think you're really going to get there on this big of a slate. I don't think we need to attack Cleveland. They've been one of the best overall defenses, actually the best overall defense in the new calendar year, #1 overall in defensive rating. The Wizards have, they've been a team we've been attacking all year long in DFS, but they've been much better since they got rid of Wes Unseld. They're 21st in defensive overall rating, obviously still in the bottom 10, but they were, bottom 3, bottom 4 all season long. Still getting killed at the rim. So I think that Donovan Mitchell, Jarrett Allen are the guys that you're considering on Cleveland side right now, with Evan Mobley and Darius Garland likely still on some sort of minutes limit. Donovan Mitchell, really, really good matchup for him. But 9.9K, I think I like some of these other spin-ups a little bit better in similar spots. But, he's up to 13 drives per game this season. Usage has kind of held up with the return of Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. So I think that he is totally fine option tonight. And then I do like Jarrett Allen a lot here. This is the best possible matchup for opposing centers versus the Wizards. They're dead last in DVP to the position. They're allowing the most points at the rim, and they're allowing the most points off of offensive rebounds. So Allen, he's a great rebounder. This is just a smash spot for him. I like him a ton. Those are really the only 2 guys I'm considering in this game, though. Yeah,
glad we're lockstep to start it off. Again, 7 p.m. Eastern. If we didn't have like the Maxey or DeJounte or some news, it would even make those Allen D-Mitch plays that I'm fine with. I mean, if you're debating 2v2 and you don't have that news and the other side backloads, the other doesn't, maybe that's how I'd use it as a tiebreaker. But one of D-Mitch or Allen, yeah, you said no one on Washington. If I land on a Tyus or something, I'd be fine. But pretty easy stay away. Don't like that game. First one of the night. Shout out Jake. Shouted out your Slate plan. Always does a great job. If you're a member, that'd be one of the first things I click on. No doubt about that is Rio Slate plan on the site. Great in-depth on a lot of players. Top tier, mid-tier, lower tier. Also has Showdown core reports as well. Brings a Slate plan to that. We have a nice 2-game night slate. Showdown prize pool is pretty good out there. So very nice shout on the Slate plan. It's very good. We keep talking about. And I tried to show you the mullets, Jake, but if you didn't see when Rio was talking, I have really bad hat head. So, yeah, I had to put the hat back on. Sorry, my man. Let's keep it going. Next game on the slate, second of 2 at 7 p.m. Eastern. Toronto Raptors, Charlotte Hornets, 226 total. Toronto 7.5-point favorites. Injury report for Toronto. Their health, Jonte Porter's questionable. That doesn't mean much, though. Charlotte side, Gordon Hayward, Cody Martin, Frankie N, all Q-tag. LaMelo out. Mark Williams still out. I'll throw it right to you in this one. Does any of those Q-tags, Hayward, Cody Martin mainly, do anything for you? Then, yeah, break down this game. I think Richards, Jakob Poeltl might get some center ownership, but I think this game's relatively low owned. How do you see it going down?
Yeah, I like this game a lot. The two really terrible defenses. The Raptors are a bottom 2 defensive rated team in 2024. Hornets are bottom 5. Obviously, I talk about it a lot. The Raptors team, they're just awful defensively with no OG Anunoby. I think even adding Jakob Poeltl back into the lineup makes their defense even worse. I've talked about it a ton in the past. He's just a guy I love to attack with opposing centers, just anybody that's going to be scoring around the rim. Poeltl is just a terrible rim protector. And yeah, the Hornets side, same thing. Nick Richards, no good. I'm not too sure about these injuries, though. It doesn't really make sense. Gordon Hayward's kind of been thrown around in trades as well. I don't think it really makes a ton of sense to throw him out there tonight. Cody Martin, I mean, it doesn't really move as much for me. I think that you're still considering the same guys: Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller, PJ, Nick Richards. But I like all those guys as well. I like this game a lot as a whole. The Hornets are allowing the 5th most points at the rim. They've been a little bit better to opposing 3-point shooters, but they're allowing the 6th most catch and point shoots per game this season. So yeah, guys, I'm thinking about on the Toronto side. Manuel quickly, like this matchup a lot for him. He's seen a pretty solid ball handling role as the lead point guard for this team. Jakob Poeltl, pretty good pick and role partner. So this is a pretty good spot for him. Quickly has some really big assist upside, pretty good scoring upside in this matchup. I did see Mark mention Scotty Barnes had a really big game last time these two teams faced off. I think he's okay as a spend-up option, kind of a contrarian spend-up option for me. Just the role has not been that great with Quickly and Barrett in the starting lineup. His usage has come down a lot. The rebounding has taken a little bit of a hit with Jakob Poeltl back. But he's been pretty close to a couple of big games, kind of nearing double-digit assist and rebounding totals, which obviously you get the bonus on DraftKings for double-digit or double-doubles, triple-doubles, things like that. He's been pretty close. I think that he's a fine contrarian spend-up option for me. I think Barrett is okay at almost 7K. He's pretty good off the catch and shoot. So I think that with the Hornets struggling in that area defensively, he could have a pretty solid game. But Jakob Poeltl probably one of my favorite center plays on the board tonight. Just a really good matchup versus this Hornets team, allowing the 4th most points to pick and roll men. That's where he gets pretty much all of his offense going, and they're bottom 2 in DVP to centers on the year. Love Jakob Poeltl tonight. And then on the Hornets side, Miles Bridges continues to play a ton of minutes. Had a really big game last time out. Went for 41 real points in 40 minutes, taking 20-plus shot attempts in 4 of his last 5 games. 27% usage rate over those past 5 games. Don't mind him at 8.4K. Brandon Miller continues to get little to no ownership. I mean, right now I'm seeing projected sub 5%. I mean, he's just been playing great as of late. He's playing a ton of minutes as well, 38-plus minutes in 4 of his last 5 games. I think last game against Lakers, he lost some minutes due to foul trouble. Still put up 50-plus DK points. He's had 45-plus DK points in 4 of his last 5 games, 31% usage rate over those games. I think this is a great spot for Brandon Miller, like him. And then PJ Washington, Nick Richards, I think they're both solid plays tonight. Pretty good matchup for interior scorers. PJ's kind of been getting it done more so as a 3-point shooter. The range of outcomes is really wide for him. Has a low of 15.5 DK points in his last 6 games, but topped out at 56.5 DK points. So, kind of the perfect GPP type play. And then Nick Richards, he's just cheap enough to consider playing 30-plus minutes a night. Really good matchup versus Jakob Poeltl, but don't love it for him.
Yeah, no, I like a lot of your stuff. A lot of people in chat were talking about Brandon Miller. It's going to be low owned again. The price is getting up there at 7.2. But, I mean, man, when he's playing without LaMelo and now without Rozier, it's damn near his team, or at least he's acting like it's his team. 36, 36, 28, 28, 27% usage. The last 5 games, 350 pieces in a row. And he contributes a little bit, rebounding, assists, can get some stocks. So he's not just like a Cam Thomas. He needs the points or not. So, yeah, I'm good with low-owned Brandon Miller for sure. I like Miles Bridges a lot. Nick Richards, I think, is fine. What were your thoughts on PJ? Did you mention him?
Yeah, just briefly. I think that he's a pretty solid GPP play tonight. I just mentioned the range of outcomes is really wide on him. Had a really big game, 56.5 against Utah, and then 15 and a half DK points a few games ago.
And I know you like Jakob Poeltl a lot. Makes a lot of sense here. You like RJ Barrett a lot, which I like. Quickly or Barrett, though, if you had to pick. Were you talking about Quickly?
Yeah, I sided with Quickly tonight. I like this matchup a lot for him, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, outside of on Toronto's, I think Scotty's fine. I would prefer the Quickly and Barrett's, I think, for the $1,600 savings, but I think Scotty's in play. I like Quickly, Barrett, Jakob Poeltl on Toronto's side. Charlotte side, Bridges, Brandon Miller, my favorites, and I think PJ Washington would be fine. Nick Richards would be fine. But yeah, Nick Richards upside at that center position, especially with Jakob Poeltl right in that range. I mean, he put up 50 when he played 36 minutes against Utah, but 18, 26, 25, 21, 19. It's like, man, you're hoping for 30, 32, which doesn't break the slate. So, yeah, I don't love Richards as much. Prefer the Bridges, Brandon Millers, PJ Washington. But, yeah, I like this game. Like, if you had 3 Raptors, if you play would you play Jakob Poeltl, Quickly, Barrett with Bridges on the way back? You'd be fine with that 4 in this game?
Yeah, I think you could definitely get there tonight. I don't think that's too bad at all. I probably would prefer Brandon Miller just for a little bit cheaper, allow some more flexibility in other areas of the lineup. But yeah, I would be fine with that many players tonight.
I like it. I love it. Let's keep it rolling again. Everyone out there, 84 watching. We appreciate that like button. Helps us out a ton. Also, that subscribe button. Subscribe to this one. And then if you're not at the SHIPIT Nation YouTube channel, go over there, subscribe there as well. If you do want to join us, PGA locks tomorrow, waste management, huge prize pools. Saw shortly before we got on the show. Hoop updated all of his content, ownership, PGA, MMA, 11 straight weeks. Big Marley and I did a show 2 hours ago before this, so check that out. NBA, of course, NHL, Super Bowl Sunday. No better time. Head over to ShipItNation.com. Weekly, monthly, 6-month, or annual packages, and you can get that for even cheaper than usual using that promo code MAYO. Gets you 10% off any of those monthly, 6-month, or annual packages. If you do join, make sure to get in the Discord too. Can't find a cheaper price out there. And a lot of these sharp minds in the YouTube chat, all over Discord as well, helping out the members and people in there as well. Let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slate. That was 2 that starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next 3 at 7:30. San Antonio Spurs, Miami Heat, 227 total. Heat favored by 8. And yeah, as far as the injury report in this game, Haywood Highsmith's out. I mean, that's the most notable thing. So no injury news that we need to be worried about in this one. In terms of ownership, 3 guys I think get some ownership and pretty good amount of ownership. I think Wemby's one of the most popular spend ups on the slate. Only 8.8K, power forward, center eligibility. Caleb Martin, 3.8K on a slate that we have some value, I guess, but really not really when it comes to good value. Again, if Maxey gets ruled out there, so without Embiid, DeJounte, more value could open up. But if the slate locked right now, Caleb Martin would be one of the more popular plays on the slate at value. And then Terry Rozier, I think some people will bite on that price tag at 6K. I don't know. As far as this game, though, like my favorite plays by far are Wemby and Caleb Martin. But Bam's healthy, Jimmy's healthy. Like, I don't know if I need a 6K Terry Rozier when Miami's fully healthy. Martin, Wemby, by far my favorites. Yeah, I guess I'll throw it to you. Do you have any interest in like the Vassell, Heroes, Socans, any of those guys?
Yeah, a little bit of interest in a couple of these mid-tier options in this game. About to start with the matchup stuff because the Spurs, they've been a really bad defense all year long. They've gotten a lot better, though, in relation to their season averages. They're 14th overall ranked defensive rating this season. Still giving up a ton of points at the rim, but they've been limiting a lot more of the three-point shooters, which is an area they were really vulnerable to earlier in the season. Wouldn't really matter this matchup. The Heat don't really have a ton of off-ball shooters that will kill you. I guess adding Terry Rozier definitely helps them, but don't really have to worry about that too much. They're allowing the 9th most points per, or the Heat, have been allowing a ton of points to catch and shoot guys. They play a lot of zone defense, so allowing a lot of three-pointers. They're allowing the 2nd most points per game in zone this season. That kind of gets me onto Devin Vassell a little bit. I'm seeing a decent amount of ownership on him, close to 20%. But this is a pretty good matchup for him. His minutes should be really safe. He's their best zone offensive scorer. Pretty good catch and shoot guy as well. I think Keldon Johnson, kind of a sneaky option as well. He's the Spurs' best catch and shoot scorer. He doesn't really have a ton of minutes upside. Been coming off the bench a lot more lately. They've been going with Jeremy Sochan a little bit more, but he's got a little bit of scoring upside. So I don't mind him. I don't really need to mention Wemby because I think that you're playing him regardless of matchup. Matchup is pretty tough against Bam, but I don't think it really matters. Sub 9K Wemby always has a ton of upside. And then I don't really have interest in Trey Jones or Sochan tonight. Just I don't think that this is a good spot for either one of them. Definitely not Sochan, who'll probably be guarding Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's been really good at drawing fouls lately, so I could see Sochan getting into foul trouble pretty quickly, which I guess could give Keldon Johnson some more minutes, which that kind of makes his case a little bit better. But on the Heat side of things, I think Bam has a really solid matchup. 8K, the usage has come way down with all these guys. Jimmy Hero getting healthier, adding Terry Rozier to the lineup. Josh Richardson been coming on a little bit more as a ball handler. He's seen his usage come down a lot, but this is a really solid matchup. So I think that the matchup kind of trumps the usage. And yeah, like I mentioned with Jimmy Butler, been a lot more aggressive lately, taking on more usage. This is a weak rim protection team. Double-digit free throw attempts in 4 of his last 5 games. He's been playing really well. Tyler Hero returned from I think he had like a headache or a migraine or something that he missed one game. Didn't really play a lot of minutes. I think him and Josh Richardson kind of split minutes. So maybe he was still kind of, had a lingering illness or whatever, but not too interested in him. He's been losing some more ball handling to Terry Rozier. I do like this matchup for Rozier, though. Spurs are bottom 3 in DVP to point guards. He's come on as of late as well, scoring 30-plus DK points in 5 straight games, 36-plus in 2 straight. The Spurs are allowing the 4th most points to pick and roll ball handlers as well, so I think that he's got a little bit of upside there. And then I guess Caleb Martin is okay value. I guess, yeah, he's you're good for 17, 18 points at that price tag. I will probably look to get away from it. It's 60% ownership. There's probably ways to get away from it, which is what I'll probably be looking to do, but I guess he's okay if you land on him. I think Josh Richardson is a solid value play too, though, kind of sneaky. He's been coming on as of late, been playing more minutes, been playing really well as well, so I like him a little bit.
Caleb Martin's definitely the guy. Like, ownership right now compared to what ownership could be in 3 hours when the slate locks, like his could change the most. If Maxi's out, DeJounte's out, any of those Q tags are out, just we don't really have good sub 4K value right now. So yeah, people will plug in Caleb Martin, who's starting, who has some rebounding upside. Like, the minutes are there for the price. When you compare him to others in the 3.8K range, he just grades out, projects better than all of them, mainly because of the minutes floor. So tournaments, when you want first place and you want ceiling, you can always get away from a lowish usage, cheap punt just because of the nature of the slate. So that makes sense to me. I love Wemby. Your Vassell shout, maybe I'll consider him. You said 20%. I bet you probably a little lower than 20% too. Yeah, Bam, Rozier, Hero, Jimmy, with all those guys healthy, I just feel like I'm playing Russian roulette. I got to get the right guy right. It's pretty hard for me to do so I probably won't have any of them. What's going on, Lachlan? 2x speed? Hey, Tambo's not talking, so you should be good. Catching up on 2x. What's going on, Ross? Michael in here. Michael's everywhere. Hopefully you're doing well, Michael. Let's keep it rolling. We got 3 games left on the slate, 4 games left on the slate, excuse me. Next game at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Golden State Warriors, Philadelphia 76ers, 235 total. Golden State 5-point favorites. Injuries on both sides of this one that are important to monitor. Draymond is questionable on the Warriors side. As far as Philly, they're still without Embiid and Melton, also without Batum. And now on the Q tag, Tyrese Maxey, who didn't go through shoot around, Daniel House, and Marcus Morris. So we're talking value right here. This is where I think we could get some value, assuming some of these Q tags are out. Like Marcus Morris and even Daniel House, their Q tags actually mean something on this slate. When we're talking Caleb Martin at 3.8K is value, there's no Embiid in the spot. There's no Melton. There's no Batum. If Maxey were to miss, like this Morris House Q tags are important for guys like Korkmaz, Springer, KJ Martin, the Oubre. Like they might need these guys. So very, very important. By far, probably the most important Q tags on the slate is Philly. I don't know. I'll let you kind of break it down however you want. Like I don't have any lean on Morris House. We think Maxey probably misses. The prices are a little more elevated on Philly side, but like if there's no Maxey, I'm paying 7-7 for Tobias. Oubre at 6'3" is still a good play. Paul Reed, I guess, up there a little bit. If House starts or Morris starts or Springer starts, all of them are pretty cheap. I'll more than likely going to be playing some of these 76ers. It's hard to break it down with these Q tags. And then Warrior side, I mean, even if Draymond's in, I think you can get to some of these guys. Kuminga, he's expensive, no doubt about that, but very, very low ownership. I think Draymond's out. He gets a pretty big bump there. I think Steph's fine as a contrarian spend. I don't know about Clay at 5.5. How do you see this one go and do the best you can with these Q tags?
Yeah, I think you broke it down really good. If Maxey is out, probably going to see Patrick Beverley start. Jaden Springer is another possibility, though. He's been playing a lot more minutes as of late. Been playing pretty well also. So I think that he's kind of secure in his role. Would just get much better if Maxey were to miss or if Daniel House were to miss. And yeah, like you said, I mean, it's a pretty big injury designation for these guys like Morris and Daniel House because they don't really have any wings right now. Outside of those two, you have no Robert Covington, no Nicholas Batum, Tobias Harris, and Oubre can fill in as the 3 and the 4. But I mean, if you don't have Maxey, then you're also down no shooting guards or point guards. So yeah, you could definitely see really big minutes from Tobias Harris, Kelly Oubre. I think those guys are kind of in play regardless right now. I definitely think Tobias Harris is probably the top play on the Sixers. Going to be, a huge usage guy with Maxey out. And then I think you can get to multiple of these value pieces. KJ Martin, Jaden Springer probably be my preferred options with no Morris or Daniel House. I mean, we might even see some of these other guys that don't really have a projection right now, like Ricky Council, Terquavion Smith. We could see these guys get into the rotation as well.
If all of those Q tags are out, I think they're going to have to.
Yeah.
Like if they're without Maxey, House, more. Yeah, I mean, I don't see how those Smith, Council, unless they just go like KJ Martin, Korkmaz, Springer, Bamba, like unless they play like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them get a little burn either.
Yeah. So this is definitely a situation to monitor. Be a lot of good pivots off of the Caleb Martin chalk here, but I mean, these guys will get ownership regardless if we have all these guys out. So definitely have to keep an eye on it. Kind of tough to break down right now. But on the Warrior side, yeah, I agree. You could definitely get to some of these guys. I like Steph as a contrarian spend-up option. I kind of slightly lean him over Donovan Mitchell for $400 cheaper. He's been playing really well lately. He's had a really, really solid usage rate over the last couple of games, been scoring much better with Draymond in the lineup. Obviously, might dock him a little bit if Draymond's out. Just Draymond knows how to get him the ball. But, I mean, he's been scoring really well. Has 37, 46, and 60 real-life points in 3 of his last 5 games. Just been playing really well, and the Sixers have been really vulnerable to catch-and-shoot shooters in the past month or two. So I think that he makes a ton of sense as a spend-up option, 9.5K, looking at sub 5% ownership right now. I think Kuminga makes some sense here. The Sixers are giving up a ton of points at the rim in the new year. No Embiid down there. They're also a bottom 6 transition defense. Kuminga has been playing awesome. Everybody that follows basketball knows how well he's been playing, so I don't really have to get into all that stuff. But yeah, he's a fine option, 7.2K, low ownership. Got to keep an eye on the Draymond Green news. Could see him missing tonight. I think if he misses, probably just slide back in pods and starting lineup. I think he probably shifts back to the bench if Draymond is in, with Wiggins expected to be back tonight. But I don't really think that I'm considering these lower price guys like Wiggins or Klay Thompson. It is a good matchup for Klay here with the Sixers struggling to defend catch and shoot stuff, but he's just playing really bad right now. Tough to see, but he's losing closing minutes to guys like Guy Santos and Lester Quinones. These guys are like Moses Moody. All these guys are playing over him right now, so I just don't think you can get to Klay. And he's coming with ownership.
Yeah, I agree with all those. I was just like, if Maxey gets ruled out and maybe some of these and the line gets up to like 8, like I feel like one of these games coming up, man, Klay's going to get hot. Kerr's going to ride. I mean, Kerr doesn't want it like this to happen. If Klay's playing well, I think he's going to close. I think he's going to get his run and they're going to feed him. Do you think, I don't know. I feel like this maybe could be the spot. I'm not going to take him out of my pool, Klay at 5.5. Because I just feel like one of these games he's going to get hot. He's going to play 33, 34 minutes, chuck the ball 15 times from deep. and you're going to need him on the winner, that's more just a hunch than I guess anything. But I'm keeping him in the pool today. I wouldn't mind to see today be the game. I like Steph. I like Kuminga. I do like your shout on if Draymond's out, I do dock Steph a bit. Kind of like what you said about Caruso yesterday. You would have bumped down Ant a bit. They don't tie together in like that way, but one player in the game affecting the other. Like I think a lot of Steph in his recent success, we talked about it weeks ago when Draymond was out, just how much he does get in the offense set, the picks, like the spacing of the court, etc. So yeah, if Draymond's in, I like Steph as a contrarian spend. If Draymond's out though, then I give Kuminga even more of a bump. Well, I think's fine now, but I would like him definitely more if there's no Draymond, even at 7.2K. Philly side, yeah, we talked about it. These Q tags we have to wait for. I think Tobias is fine either way and probably becomes one of the best plays on the slate if Maxey is out. 3 games left on the slate. Don't tell him you like Clay. Could Wiggins end up sitting due to trade rumors with Milwaukee? Yeah, that game's at 7:30. Right now, I'm hoping we just get the news. If they're traded, we get it before the game starts and it plays normal. I'm not going to fade anyone that they're saying is playing because he's on the block. Like if he gets taken out mid-game or whatever it may be, there's always tomorrow. 3 games left, 7:30 Eastern. Atlanta Hawks, Boston Celtics, 244 total. Boston big favorites at 12. Someone mentioned it. Didn't notice how many big favorites were on the slate. Yeah, there is a lot of big favorites for sure. Boston, one of those teams. Injury report-wise, Drew Holiday questionable, which is important for Boston. Atlanta, Capella's out. DeJounte Murray questionable as a midday downgrade. We said earlier if we had to pick or if we had a lean, DeJounte sits in trade talks, midday downgrade. I think that would make Trey fine at 9.1K. Still, he's kind of by the Steph range. Boston isn't a team I like to attack. I don't know. I still really don't like this Atlanta side much. Talk to me about Trey if DeJounte's out. And then even on the Boston side, does Drew Q-Tag do anything? Really, Porzingis, Tatum, I don't know, Derek White maybe. Just an in-game one-offs, if anything, for me. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, the Hawks have been a team to attack all year long. They're just one of the worst overall defenses, pretty much get beat in any way that you could think of. They're bottom 4 overall defensive rating, bottom 2 rim, bottom 3 3-point defense, bottom 3 pick and roll points, bottom 2 transition, allowing the 4th most catch and shoot points. So you really could just throw a dart at any one of these Boston guys and they're probably going to have a good game. I'll probably still have some interest in the Boston side. I think these guys can get it done in 3 quarters. And then you're also just kind of hoping that Atlanta is able to keep it close, which I doubt they'll be able to with no DeJounte Murray. But I mean, Atlanta's played, more competitive lately. They've won a couple games. So maybe they're able to keep it close. We did see Boston, they kind of play down in competition at times. But yeah, I like the spot a lot for pretty much all these guys. Tatum should have no issues in this matchup. The Hawks really don't have anybody to throw at him. DeAndre Hunter is still going to be limited, I would imagine. So they'll probably put Jalen Johnson on him, and he's just not a good defender right now. So I would be totally fine with Tatum as a spend-up option. I think Jaylen Brown at 8K is fine. He's the 4th best transition scorer in the league, going up against the 2nd worst transition defense. So I think he's got some upside here at 8K. Porzingis, 7.5K. Hawks have been getting killed by centers all season long. They're allowing a ton of points to catch and shoot guys, allowing a bunch of points at the rim. So Porzingis makes sense. Derek White, even a little bit less interested in him, but he's kind of come back down to earth a little bit lately. But he's the 2nd best catch and shoot option on the Celtics side of things. So I think all those guys make sense. I don't really have a lean on if Drew sits or not. I would probably expect him to sit. Just this game being a pretty big spread. They look to get these vets some nights off, so it makes sense to give him the night off tonight. We'll probably just slide Al Horford into the starting lineup. It's probably a little bit too crazy, but I think that like Sam Hauser, even as a value play at 3.8K, is not the craziest option. We've seen him kind of pop off randomly at times. This is a really good spot for catch and shoot guys. He's their best catch and shoot 3-point shooter, so I think that he's, I'm not running to play him, but I don't think that he's the craziest option tonight at 3.8K. And then on the Hawks side, if DeJounte's out, you can take a look at Trey. Terrible matchup versus the Celtics, but if Drew Holiday were to miss, becomes a little bit better. Would see Derek White tonight. But Trey has played really well lately. He's shooting 23 for 38 from 3 over his last 4 games. Celtics have been a slight 3-point funnel all season long, so I think that he's okay as a spend up option. Probably prefer Steph and even Donovan Mitchell for a little bit more expensive, but I don't think that he's the worst play on the board tonight. And then Okongwu going to continue to fill in the center minutes with Clint Capella out. Less of a screaming value at 5.7K, but he should still play a ton of minutes, and he's good enough to at least put up a respectable fantasy score at that price tag.
Power forward eligibility too, which is nice on Okongwu. Yeah, not really much to add. Not many thoughts changed. I think Trey, if DeJounte's out, Okongwu's fine. I think Boston stomps him too. So would you max one of Tatum, Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, or would you max two?
I'll probably be max one on this slate. I think that there are some guys in that same range that I don't really want to. I think it's just limiting your upside a little bit too much unless you're expecting the game to stay close.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I'm playing two, I probably want like a Trey. I was gonna say a Okongwu, but at the end of the day, Okongwu playing great. I don't think really determines how close this game stays. Like I think you would need a Trey, or if DeJounte's in, I'd have a little more interest, I guess, in these Boston guys, but. You need a Jalen Johnson, one of these guys to go crazy in Atlanta to keep it close, to get your full run from the Boston guys where two would work. But yeah, Porzingis, Tatum, Jaylen Brown, any of those guys could get there in 3 quarters or without their last rotation too. So I am fine with any of them. Last thing on this game, if Drew was out, does that bump Derek White enough? You already said Derek White's fine, but is that a substantial bump for Derek White? And then Peyton Pritchard, what does that do for him if Drew's out?
Drew is just such a low usage guy on this team that I don't think that it really matters as much. I guess you're getting a little bit more run out of Peyton Pritchard, but been kind of weird what they're doing with him lately because he was the kind of guy that we're looking to play in blowouts, and he just has not been getting blowout run lately. Only saw 15 minutes against Memphis in a game they won by like 20, 30, whatever it was. So I guess you're kind of just hoping for him to get the backup point guard minutes, but I don't think that it's enough for me to run to play him. I would prefer him. If Drew Holiday was out, I would probably prefer Pritchard over Caleb Martin, but different position. So I don't think that it really changes much for me.
Yep, makes some sense. 2 games left on the slate. Let's start with the one I have definitely less interest in than the other one. New Orleans Pelicans, Los Angeles Clippers, 231 total. Clippers 6.5-point favorites. Nothing on the Clippers side to worry about. As far as the Pelicans, Zion questionable, Najee Marshall questionable. Again, this game 10 Eastern, so 2.5 hours after the other 4 we just talked about. You said you expected Zion to play if you had to guess. And again, I'm not backloading for any of this news. Assuming Zion's in, I don't know. I don't want any of these Pelicans. As far as the Clippers side, yeah, I guess like a Harden, a Kawhi, I'd be fine with as a last piece, a CJ maybe, but I don't like this game, man. Fully healthy pretty much on the Clipper side. If Zion's in, fully healthy on the Pelican side, efficient pricing. I like this Detroit-Sacramento game much more we're about to talk about.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, but I'm kind of coming around to this game a little bit more. Just kind of like had a thought that you said, there's a lot of games that are expected to blow out tonight. You could realistically see Miami blowing out San Antonio, Sacramento blowing out Detroit, Boston blowing out Atlanta, Cleveland blowing out Washington. I don't even think it's too crazy to think that Golden State could blow out Philly with no Tyrese Maxey. So that leaves you with 2 games that could stay close with Toronto, Charlotte, which we have interest in. But these are 2 of the top Western Conference teams here. I think that just this game could stay close, and we could see really big minutes out of some of these starters like Harden and Kawhi, who have both been playing really well lately. Elevated price tags, no ownership. Brandon Ingram's been playing really good lately. Even Zion has seen more minutes as of late, coming in questionable. I think that he probably still plays a ton. I think CJ is going to play a ton. In a close game, we could see like 40 minutes from a lot of these guys, like Ingram for sure on the Pelican side. We could see close to 40 from Kawhi and James Harden. So I think I'm kind of coming around to this game a little bit more. The Pelicans, really both these teams have been really good defensively in the new year. Pelicans are allowing a lot more points to 3-point shooters and catch and shoot guys. So I think that James Harden makes some sense even at 9K. Clippers have been, they've been really good kind of all around defensively. So nothing really stands out, but I think that these guys are good enough. Brent Ingram's definitely good enough to beat a really bad matchup. So I think that I'll have some interest in him at 7.9K and no ownership. But yeah, I'm kind of coming around to this game a little bit more. I think that it's going to be pretty sneaky.
Is there any like Trey Murphy's? Is there any value really, or would you just be fine? Or is it really just like a Harden, a Kawhi, CJ, Ingram, Zion? Like it's just mainly one of the studs that all be low on, or do you see the Trey Murphy or Herb Jones hoping that Najee Marshall's out? I think that's, if any value, those are the two I'm seeing. Then you could hope Zion, Najee, or both are out, and if they're both in, they're still fine. But fine is all they are.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think Herb Jones kind of fine as it is, regardless of the Najee news. A little bit less interested in Trey Murphy, just not playing too great right now. Herb Jones is going to be needed for a ton of minutes tonight for his on-ball defense on Paul George, most likely. Probably sees a little bit of Kawhi Leonard at some point in the game. I don't think the Larry Nance is the worst value option either. I mean, we've seen the Clippers team run pretty small lineups out there. Larry Nance has been he's taken away some minutes from Joval at times. We could definitely see the Clippers close with the James Harden, Kawhi, PG, Russell Westbrook, and Norm Powell lineups. I don't think that it's the worst option to go to Larry Nance. This is a guy that was pretty high owned a couple slates ago at 3.2K. 3.8K is not the biggest price bump, so I think that he's fine. I think that stylistically, this is a pretty good spot for Norman Powell for catch and shoot guys. But I just don't know if there's enough upside for him at 4.7K, really. But I'm not too opposed to leaving him in my player pool, and if I land on him, I land on him.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, both Powell and Nance will be very low owned. For Nance, you have, again, if we are wrong on Zion, that's a big bump there. Najee Marshall could help him out a bit. I doubt I get there, just center eligible, and it is a pretty good center slate, like 4 or 5 very good options there. So that probably keeps me away. One game left on the slates. Again, 2 games at 7 p.m., 3 games at 7:30. These last 2 games at 10 p.m. Eastern. So plan ahead. All of our content will be up, as always. Projections updated throughout the night. Showdown core report for that 10 p.m. Eastern game. Cash, myself on FanDuel, DK, GPP core reports, ceiling rankings, correlation tools. Michael talking about how he's trying to learn all of them on the site, improve his process. That's what it's all about. ShipItNation.com. We try and help you out. MMA, PGA, that locks tomorrow, NBA, NHL, NFL, baby, Super Bowl Sunday. Huge prize pools out there. Very excited for that. Head over to ShipItNation.com. Weekly, monthly, 6-month, and annual packages. Use that promo code MAYO. Gets you 10% off to get it even cheaper. Last game on the slate. I was going to say like button and then last game, and I don't know what just came out, but do appreciate that like button. And we are at the last game of the night, 10 p.m. Eastern, Detroit Pistons, Sacramento Kings. Big total, big spread, 242. Kings 13-point favorites. Nothing on the injury report for the Sacramento side. Detroit, no Isaiah Stewart, no Kevin Knox, Cade Cunningham, and Bojan Bogdanovic are questionable. You said you expect Cade to play. You did not have a lean on Bojan. Man, this is another one. Like, if this game does stay close, one of these Kings guys has to smash. The prices feel fair. Sabonis at 10-1. Great center play that I like. De'Aaron Fox, 8.1K. Monk, Herder. I don't even think like a Harrison Barnes. We're talking really bad value right now. Like, your Larry Nance call would be like my Trey Lyles. And I just like it because he has power forward eligibility. 15 could be enough at 3.2K. Like, if the slate locked right now, I'd be fine with 15 from Trey Lyles at 3.2 at what it gets you. Now, when Maxi's ruled out, or if he is, there probably is better value on the slate. But that's kind of why Caleb Martin, we keep talking about him. There's just really no sub 4K options right there. But yeah, I mean, even Keegan Murray, I think, is fine at 5.7. If this game does stay relatively close, I think at least one of these Kings get here. I'll go to you on any preferences. Less interest from me on the Detroit side, assuming both these Q tags play. Azir Thompson, I think, gets the most ownership at 4.4. I guess start Piston side since I think it'll take less time. Start with Thompson and work your way from wherever you want.
Yeah, starting with Thompson. I think that he has a really solid value tonight. Doesn't really have much of an offensive game. I mean, probably no offensive game at all. I mean, he's just a does not have the shot right now of a professional NBA player, but I mean, he's got a ton of rebounding upside. Both these Thompson twins, really solid rebounders as undersized, guards, forwards, or whatever you want to consider them. So I'll be playing some Asar Thompson tonight. He is projected to start with Kevin Knox traded away. Would probably even see more minutes if Bojan's out tonight. But I really just think that if you're getting to any of these main rotation guys like Cade, Duren, Ivy, it's probably in a game stack, and you're hoping that this game stays close. Price tags are all pretty solid for all of them. We know the role is going to be elite for Cade when he gets the minutes. 7.9K, pretty reasonable tag for him. This is not a terrible matchup. The Kings have been decent in the new year with their defense, but they are allowing the most 3-pointers per game in 2024. So yeah, I kind of wish that Bojan we knew that he was playing a lot of minutes, because this is a good matchup for him. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of interest as it stands right now on these Pistons guys outside of the value in Asar Thompson.
Before you get to King's side, Cade, so any thoughts on the minutes? Like, do you think it'll hang around these low to mid 30, like 31, 32, 30, 34? But before the injury, 37, 42, 36, 39, 44, like there's a lot of variance, I think, in this minutes projection, and that could be something we use in our benefit. Ownership's really not there. Probably the industry has him probably about 32 minutes is my guess. Like, if you pencil 36 minutes, he becomes a great play. So what are your thoughts on the minutes?
Yeah, I do think that there probably is a wider range of outcomes that the industry is giving credit for. Obviously, you're not going to project him for 35, 36, but I don't think that is not within the range of outcomes for him. If we do expect him to sit tomorrow, with this being a back-to-back, if he does play tonight and the game does stay close, there's a chance that they run him out there for 35, 36 minutes. I think we saw in his first game back from the knee injury.
34.
He played 34 minutes. So even as of now, he's not a terrible play. He's gotten at least 38 DraftKings points in every game since he's returned. We know that he has a ton of upside. So yeah, I think leaning into it a little bit could make some sense. Give him a couple manual boosts in the projection, maybe see what his projection would be at 36 minutes, 35 minutes, and run him there. Yes, I think I agree with you there. There are some more upside to him, to his minutes. On the King side, though, I'll probably be playing this one pretty aggressively. Right now I have a min one rule of Malik Monk, De'Aaron Fox, and Sabonis. I think one of these guys has a really good game and probably puts up a GPP worthy score tonight. Definitely like Sabonis the most. He's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder in this matchup. I don't know if you saw a couple of years ago or maybe earlier last year, Jalen Duren said that Sabonis wasn't difficult to guard or something like that. And then the next time they faced off, he went for 37, 10, and 13. So okay. I think he I think he came away in that one. But yeah, the Pistons, they've been terrible defensively in the new year. They're dead last in defensive rating, allowing the third most points at the rim. Sabonis has been a triple-double machine this season. Price tag continues to stay in that low 10K range. I like him probably as the top spin tonight. He's not going to come in low owned at all. I think he'll probably be the highest owned stud, but I like him a lot tonight. I'll be playing him. And then De'Aaron Fox. I
will say to that, center's so loaded where he's going to get ownership, but with how good center is and right now not the best value, you like him, you play him is how I say. I don't think it gets astronomical or something too great. I think Wemby probably comes in higher owned. Power forward eligibility, $1,300 savings. So I think he'll be. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. It ain't going to be over 40%. I'd be shocked to see that at just center, but he's definitely getting some.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And then, De'Aaron Fox, really good matchup for him as well. This Pistons team is terrible against pick and roll ball handlers. He's been really up and down as of late. Did have a good game, 41 real life points 2 games ago. Kind of followed it up with a stinker last game, but he hasn't been this cheap maybe all season long, but for sure in a really long time. He's still going to play a ton of minutes. I like De'Aaron Fox a lot tonight. Not really much to say.
Yeah, no, I think this is the cheapest he's been all year that I'm looking at so far. I don't even remember last year if he's been this cheap. Why? What makes you say Monk, Fox, Sabonis, and not why Monk over Herter? I assume that you do like Monk over Herter because you're making the rule of just those three. Why is that? Is it because he's starting Herter is and like that eats at like if it is Monk getting there and not Fox a bonus, it's because he's staggered in the second unit more so? Or do you just like the spot?
I like the spot a little bit better. I don't really want to like read into this too much, but the Pistons, as bad as they've been defensively, they are not allowing a ton of three-point shots right now. They're pretty like decent against catch and shoot guys, which is that's Keegan Murray's game to me. I don't think that I mean he's gotten it done in different matchups like against the Pacers. He's had good games. They're really good against catch and shoot guys, but not last game he sucked against them, but he had a good game against them earlier in the year. He's had some more rebounding. And then kind of similar to Herter, he is kind of like all catch and shoot. I guess, if he gets the minutes, he's a fine value play, but I just think that the way that Monk plays, fast paced, kind of attacking the rim, more ball handling, pick and roll stuff, I think that he's got a lot more upside than these other secondary guys, and that's kind of how I'll be playing it. He's been playing more minutes as of late as well.
And did you mention any Barnes, Lyles? You just Keegan Murray at the end, but any of those guys gonna stay in your pool?
Yeah, I'll keep all of them. I mean, I'll still keep in Murray and Herter, Barnes. I like your shout on Trey Lyles because he's a pretty solid value right now. And yeah, I think all these guys are totally fine. Pistons are terrible.
Yeah, Pistons are definitely terrible. So yeah, definitely love the King spot. They're gonna get some ownership, but it also like if you are trying to backload or you throw Cade in there or Zion, like you're like Rio and you do like that Pelicans Clippers game a little bit. You have plenty of Kings, and you can go a lot of way with the Kings with value and stuff. You like Desir Thompson as well, 4.4K. You can backload these last two games and have like 4 open spots. And if the Zion news does hit or something like that, a lower owned Ingram, McCollum with some flexibility for some value too. So always have a plan. That's what we talk about, especially on slates that have pretty much 2 lock times, 7 and 7:30, and then 10 p.m. Eastern. So always have a plan there. Appreciate that, Roger. Appreciate those words. Is it fine to play Fox and Sabonis together?
I think that's fine. Yeah.
Yep. Think so as well. Awesome stuff, man. About an hour talking all 7 games. Again, this will be the last show of the week. Still have our projections, content as always. We'll be out in Phoenix though. So we're coming back. Show is on Monday. MMA this week. We still got you covered. PGA tomorrow. Still got you covered. NBA, NHL. Head over to SHIPITNation.com. Of course, Super Bowl Sunday as well. Use that promo code Mayo. Gets you 10% off your packages. Rio, final thoughts for the people, my man.
No, I'm really excited about this weekend. Excited to get out to Arizona, hang out with all the guys. Content's going to be a little bit different this week, I'm sure. I'll probably have slate plan up for late tonight. So, yeah, that's probably how we'll be handling it. And then we'll kind of take it as it goes. But, yeah, excited about this slate tonight, excited for this weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, no show tomorrow, no show Friday. We'll be back Monday talking hoops. We'll still have the slate plan, GPP core report, cash report, projections, etc. You guys still be covered. Same as NFL, all the MMA, the same, golf, same thing. Just no show tomorrow, no show Friday. We'll be back Monday. We're going to enjoy our weekend at the Waste Management. If any of you guys out there or girls, I always say guys, if you're a girl, you should know I mean you guys in the same boat, live around here, or hey, even if you want to buy a plane ticket, we do have Friday night a golf thing set up, a Top Golf thing set up. Saturday night, we're going to be at the casino. You guys can all join us. We have an itinerary. Already some members said they're going to be out there. Join us. We'd love to talk, have some drinks, shoot the shit. Hey, we all have similar like-minded. You guys like DFS. We like DFS. Y'all like sports. We like sports. We'll be a great time. So we'd love to meet couple of y'all out there if you are in the Arizona area. That's enough of that. Great stuff as always, Rio. 7 games. Somebody at Shipping Nation, one of those logos. Let's be up at the top tonight. Time to win $250K. That sounds like a nice gift. For my man Rio, I'm Titletown. Be safe. Have a good one. Good luck tonight, fellas.